Hey, welcome to the Engineer's Workshop. Man, some crazy times we got here. Um, this is me social distancing. All of Virginia schools are closed. They initially closed for 2 weeks, and then that progressed pretty rapidly to close for the rest of the academic year. So kids are home. They didn't know that the last day that they saw their friends was the last day they saw their friends. No graduations. Everything's pretty much closed in Virginia except essential businesses, which are grocery stores, home centers, state ABC stores, liquor stores, which, it's essential. I guess you don't want people going off the wagon during this crisis. But sorry I didn't get a video out last week. I was quite busy making a transition. My day job, my company is, everybody's doing work from home. So there was a scramble to get everybody prepared to do that, and I've been doing that all week. Um, was able to get a little bit done here and there. I've got a lot of video segments shot of project progress, so I'm just kind of going to put some stuff together for you. Did some work on the beam, did some work on the shop lighting, did some work on the tool cart, just a number of things, and this ain't much, but it's better than nothing. So my wife summed it up. The way I'm looking at this is, if I stay home, I may save you. And if you stay home, you may save me. So that's what we're practicing for now. Hope all of you and your family are well. Stay safe, make good choices, and let's see what we've been doing here at Engineers Workshop. This is actually a great opportunity to give Netflix a rest and queue up a nice long playlist of YouTube videos to watch. You can watch all my old stuff, see all the projects I've got in the works, and try to keep them coming in the upcoming weeks ahead. I have a feeling that Netflix, Amazon Prime videos, all of the platforms to watch movies at home are just going to go bonkers over the next upcoming months. So stay tuned. Wanted to show you a project that I started working on actually before I had power applied to the building. And we moved a workbench into this shop from my old wood shop on the other property to make more room back there to store some parts that needed a little bit more conditioned storage, and hung up a couple of threaded rods from the overhead purlins. I don't know if they're girts or purlins. They're girts on the side and purlins on top, or vice versa. I don't know which is which, but got the threaded rods hanging, and I wanted to put an 8-foot fluorescent fixture hanging over the workbench so that we could light up whatever we're building or degreasing or painting. And I had an 8-foot fixture that was actually two 4-foot tubes end to end, and plugged that thing in. Only one of them lit up. I've tried new tubes in it, so it must have a bad ballast. But I've got all these single light T40 fluorescent fixtures. I'll go into that a little bit later in the video. But I said, what if I just gang 4 of these together? I'll make 4 40-watt fluorescent fixtures hanging above the workbench, and that should be good light for whatever project we're working on. And that'll be just a permanent, fixed light source at it's about 8 feet above the floor. And I'll show you how I'm doing that right now. So I got to get some light above this workbench, and I've had these fixtures. I actually have 40 of them. These came from, I believe it was like Hallmark card presentation stands. And I mean, I've had these things for like 20 years. So if you go back in your mind and the Hallmark stores, you got a long row of what would be 4-foot modules, racks of cards, and then at the top a fluorescent light to light them up. So these all plug in together to one another. You can make as many of them within reason as you can. Initially, I wanted 4 rows of 10 in the other building, but it's been 20 years and I only have up like 1.5 rows. I just have incandescents everywhere else. So I'm going to configure 4 of these together around a piece of unistrut. I'm going to be hanging that from the 2 threaded rods that you saw me put up in the earlier video. So I've got to get them cleaned up. These were 1032 studs. I've got to get, well, I had to get nuts for these to match. I had everything but 1032. So I've got those now. I'm going to go ahead and rig up a fairly heavy contraption. These things weigh about, I don't know, 10 pounds a piece. They have a ballast. They're a real good unit. They have a ballast and good wiring inside. So, but 1 light each. So we'll get some good light over top of this bench and get some additional lighting going on the other side.
Hey, little tiny guy. Let's put you over here.
Man, that was a good see.
I almost stepped on him.
Yeah.
That's onto the unistrut. It's a really weird dimension, like 45 and 13/16 between them. So I'm just going to lay them out like this. Marked all this out by laying it up against the studs. I just took it over and used a drill press. I started to mark both sides, but I figured if I'm gonna drill it straight and accurate, I'll just go straight on through. Yeah, I thought that's what would happen. I mean, they seem to wander a little bit, but I think that we pretty much are dropping right over the studs here. And the only way I could find 1032 fasteners, nuts, was to buy a pack of flathead screws and nuts. So let's get you in here a little closer. Anybody knows a good way to tighten a hex nut inside a piece of unistrut, feel free to tell me, because I'll tell you what, a 1/4-inch socket doesn't fit. And they're not 3/8. We're going to have to settle for just snug enough, which you can get with the corners of a small crescent wrench. This building always makes interesting noises. We've got scrub trees growing up against it, and the wind is always scraping branches against the siding, which reverberates like a tin box because you're inside a tin box. And the other thing I forgot to do was to get this plugged in. got this worked out just right. Okay, 2 more to go. This is the part that could get real interesting. Getting this to drop on top of the other 4 while holding it upright. Yeah. Let's try that again. The word sketchy comes to mind, but it's a light. It just has to hang there. And it's up high enough. I don't think I'll be bumping it. It's actually not as bad as I thought it would be to tighten. Now with this, I've got to make a little U-shaped jumper to get power from one side to the other. But for now, there we go. Get those cleaned up and hung up. I got to mount an electrical box at that end. That'll be pretty good. Because I have only one screw in here, the ends of this are sagging a little bit. So what I'm going to do is take some boards and I'm going to shoot some screws up, pull that flat, just for a little bit more stability. I know it probably doesn't matter, but I'm a little nervous about it flexing like that. So there's a slot in through each edge here. I can get a screw up through it. Let's see how many times I can drop the screw into the inaccessible little crevice. That's all it takes. I'll do one in the middle and one at the other end. I'm using the half-height unistrut at 16-inch increments to make little upright pieces to hold my conduits on the back side of the girts. So we'll get these cut off and head over to the other building. 16 inches also lands halfway between the holes, which I absolutely planned. Just kidding. Makes sense that they have them on an increment. I don't know what this is, but no, not cutting through any holes if you keep 16 inches from an uncut fresh end. I'm going to start to run conduit across above this purlin, above the brace here. And I'm going to use pieces of unistrut that will cut. It's going to be the thin stuff. And we're going to mount it to the face of this member. And then we can fasten on the back side of this unistrut. This needs to be every 10 feet. I'm going to take the center line of the panels as my start point, make a mark every 10 feet along this 7-foot high purlin girt. I can't keep straight which one it is. And then the air line and the conduit, the electrical runs, will run on the back side of that, which will keep it above this level. If I ever want to put a door in anywhere, I can do it, and stub out from there if we have anything to supply with power out in the building. So get it clean off the top of this. This has years of sawdust on it from being a sawmill, so I'm going to brush all that and then make my marks every 10 feet. So, best laid plans of mice and men. You saw me trying to lay a tape across there and step off 10 feet. Well, turns out the original point I picked to start going across, which was 10 foot from that was here, was exactly 5 feet from the beam or the column supporting the building. That's where I centered my electrical panels. So 5 foot over plus 10 feet plus another 10 feet, put my third unistrut support exactly behind the next support beam. So had to step it over, so I picked the left-hand unistrut, which brings me to here and about 2 feet from the edge of that beam. So we've got 3/8 fasteners from the back. This isn't real thick. This is about 80 thousandths. So to just try to reduce the bendiness of this, I've got a 5/8 washer backing this up to give me a little bit more rigidity. And I'm going to need to get shorter bolts. But I just wanted to show you how this is going to be. Let's get a wrench and tighten that up. That's actually not too bad. So your conduit clips will index in from the back, and all of our horizontal runs will be attached behind these. So one down, many to go. So I'm in my final stages of running first circuit in conduit up to my light, and for building this size, every circuit is going to be what, 20, 30, 50, 100 feet long. So I did the math, and by far the cheapest way to run wire is with THHN solid on spools. Unfortunately, you got to get, you know, one of each color, but you know, compared to non-metallic sheath cable that you get in the home center or even at the you know, electrical supply houses, this comes out to be a, you know, big advantage, considering I have to run everything in conduit anyway to protect it. So I can run multiple circuits in a 3/4 inch conduit. That'll save some money. I can just tee them and run another set of conductors in there. But you know, this is the way to go. I've got to finish up over here to the light, and we'll test it out. I pulled my 3 wires from the T-box back to the switch mounted near the electrical panel. I'm just going to have this light come on at the same time as the one over by the electrical panel. And I got to get a length here to run these wires from that box, which is falling, over to this box. What kind of bird that is. Duck? This cord I just have powering an outlet strip for the wire wheel here. So we're plugged in, we're hooked up. Let me close up that box and we will give this a try. Okay, I'm going to go throw the switch and see if we have success. We do. So we got a light over at the panel and a light over the workbench, both operated by a 20 amp switch through a GFI breaker. So no shocks if we do something stupid, but it's a start. Lots more circuits to go in this building, but I hope you enjoyed this. It was kind of quick and scattered and a little bit of everything, but got to do what we got to do these days. So catch you next time.